Hey traders, checking in on the stock market today. A lot to talk about. Pretty much the relationship between our assets, between sectors. It's like a snow globe, and this morning we just shook it up real quick, and now we have to sort it all out. So a bit overwhelming today in that regard, but things have shaped up a bit more clearly here into the end of the day, and we'll look at where everything stands in relationship to each other. See you in a minute.
Introducing the Chart Guys Swing Report, a weekly digital publication that uses technical analysis to identify long-term market opportunities. Understand the market from a swing trade perspective. Follow institutional money as it rotates from sector to sector, and make the most of the Swing Report's weekly trade opportunities, with key entry and exit levels provided. Performance is tracked and updated weekly. For more information, visit us at chartguys.com. Now, let's check out some charts.
So today started with a gap up open shaping up. We then got some vaccine news, and it was just a rocket ship for the S&P 500 to hit all-time highs. And today is marked by a lot of candles looking like SPY with higher opens and then all profit taking. It's not surprising to see profit taking on a move of this size, considering that was our fifth gap up open in the last 6 days, and considering how overextended we were to start the week. But there are definitely some red flags out there on some names. And just to run through some individual names real quick before we get into our regular technical analysis, look at HD. HD has a double top at all-time highs, and this to me says a massive move to the exit. Close at the low of the day, and a ton of bulls exiting long positions. And there's a bunch of names that are doing that. Look at Penn. Penn hit a double top at the all-time high and pulled back over 15%. Clearly money leaving there. And you look at low, big dump, big exit from near the high of last week. And there's a handful of names, Dex another one, just big sell-offs from the highs. So what we are noting, if you've been watching these videos for 2020, you know that we have been organizing things as tech sector and high flyers, and those high flyers were mostly stay-at-home names, PTON, Zoom, etc. They've been over here, and they've been leading this bounce from the March lows. And then we have our laggard sectors, financial sector, airliners, cruise liners, energy. They've been over here, and they have been lagging for obvious reasons. They have more exposure as far as the fundamental reason as to why the market dumped in 2020. What you saw today was a complete shift where we were seeing a sell-off in the tech sector and our high flyers, and a huge move in our laggards. The financial sector closed up over 8% today. If you look at SPY and you tell me that XLF closed up 8% on today's candle, I would call you a liar, because it definitely does not look like that took place. But it's very clear that there is money shifting around significantly. So what I am watching for, and what also has changed, sidetrack, stocks decoupled from gold to a certain degree. They've been trading hand in hand. We've been watching our assets, gold, crypto, stocks, all trading very similarly. And today it was just a mixed bag where gold dumped and stocks ran up, and then stocks pulled back and gold had a weak bounce, and crypto pulled back hard from a double top rejection but also bounced significantly. So it's just a major reshuffling going on. And for the rest of the week, I'm in observation mode. Today was not an easy day for me to trade at all. I was overwhelmed, and again, I'm just in observation mode. Where is money going? What is taking place? We knew to be looking for an hourly higher low this morning, but as soon as SPY pulled back this much, I then knew to be looking for an hourly lower high once that higher low had been set. We had a 5-minute trend change to mark the low of the day. We lost the 5-minute uptrend to mark that hourly lower high, and then the bears really ran with it into the close with a massive dump very quickly. And that is the tech sector and QQQ with that sell-off. Again, look at XLF at the end of the day, and yes, it pulled back, but hourly perspective, very different story. So my question for the rest of the week is, do we continue to see money leave high flyers in tech, and do we see it to continue to go into our laggards? Because again, one day is not enough. We've seen this happen before where we flip and these names go weak and these names go strong, but it hasn't lasted and it hasn't had follow through. So that's what we're watching for the rest of the week. There are individual names that are great bear trades at the same time as there's individual names that are great bull trades. That's another thing that's changing with where we have this shakeup going on. There are names that are in hourly downtrends. Today we had Netflix and Amazon in hourly downtrends and Apple and Google in hourly uptrends. So major tech names normally trading hand in hand with each other, just completely shifting. So SPY, tons of space for a daily high or low. Ideally, the bulls want to hold 347.65 to stay their strongest. I'm watching the S&P 500 futures chart and the 4-hour EMA 12 support. We started this morning watching the hourly EMA 12 support, and that's where our hourly high or low held. We then lost the hourly uptrend, which means zoom out. 4-hour EMA being tested. It held the last test to end last week, and it held a test before that as well. If this level is lost, it definitely shifts momentum. What I would love to see is hold that level and then allow me to scout for a top fishing play with a 4-hour lower high, because the size of the pullback at this point is significant enough. This is the 2-hour time frame where I would be scouting for a lower high, put a stop above that high, and then hope for bear follow through from there. So 4-hour EMA 12, let's see if the bulls can hold it overnight tonight, and that will be key for me tomorrow. IWM, all-time highs, tons of profit taking. That being said, tons of space for a daily high or low as well. So that's why that 1 day of shift is not enough. We're going to have to see daily uptrends lost. A lot of people are going to be talking about SPY as a blow-off top. Could this be a blow-off top? Yeah, that's possible. Definitely possible. But I need to see more pullback. I need to see a failure to break the high and a confirmed daily downtrend, and then I'll talk blow-off top. QQQ. Weekly resistance break, and then a failure for any follow-through. And again, if this is the 5-minute time frame and I'm looking to play this equilibrium break bullish, this is a red flag to me. We broke one resistance level, we failed to break the second level. The most important support is 267 on the weekly time frame, and now we're looking for a daily high or low. Hourly RSI, when it gets oversold, which was close to the end of the day, we start scouting for that daily high or low. So again, we're just looking for a daily high or low, which is why I'm not ready to say tech is dead or this is a blow off top. But if we set that high or low and then confirm a daily downtrend towards the end of this week, it'll be very notable, and bulls will have to be very cautious and bears will start salivating a bit. XLF, the weekly equilibrium for months that we've been watching, has broken bullish. We just got to the high of the 2020 bounce. That is very notable. The question is, can we see our laggard sectors offset the weakness in our high flyers and tech sector? Remember, what we look for on the short-term time frame, knowing we need all our sectors at the low of the day at the same time to get bear follow-through, that's the same for the bigger picture. If I'm a long-term, weekly uptrend bull in the S&P 500, I don't love the fact that the tech sector is selling off, but as long as one of our major sectors is holding on strong, I know that we're not going to get a ton of bear follow-through. We get tons of bear follow-through in the broader market when all of our sectors are at the low at the same time. So while we had a lot of sectors at their low today, XLF was holding things together to keep it from getting real ugly. So XLF, if we lose the low of today, we have tons of space for a daily higher low to form. After 27.44 resistance, we're going to be looking up at 27.80 and 28.25. Healthcare, all-time high, gap up open, a lot of profit taking. Bulls want to hold low of Friday, 109.21. If that level breaks tomorrow, we start to get some red flags. And we were watching this uptrend resistance line, and look at that rejection. Just all of these tops of the bounces rejecting from that level. Biotech failed to break the all-time high. If we break 119.09, it will be a loss of the daily uptrend. That'll be a confirmed daily downtrend, and we'll be looking back at 110.07 as the most important support. So you'll see the vast majority of the candles we're looking at do look like these big red Marubozu candles closing at their lows. SMH, same thing. Gap up to all-time highs, tons of profit taking, but tons of space for a daily higher low. So any name that looks like this, SPY included, we are looking for daily higher lows. TAN, gap up open, new highs, bearish engulfing candle, close at the low. Bulls must hold 64.48. but anytime you break resistance and that is the result, it's definitely a bit of a red flag. The VIX trying to get a bullish reversal candle on the daily going. Short-term level 29.40. But I'm just viewing anything under 41.20 as a daily lower high. So lots of space to bounce, but lots of space to form that lower high. And it's the same as SPY with lots of space to form the daily higher low. I will not consider SPY breaking this 347.65 support a loss of the daily uptrend. That was a very brief little pullback. And that's not enough to be a significant enough pivot for me to say that that is our daily higher low, and if that's lost, the uptrend is lost. Gold dumped. So as I said last week, with the weekly bull break, I will look to buy a gold daily higher low. So I entered a swing position in GLD today. Granted, it was a little bit early pre-market, but it's an acceptable trade for me, where if I get stopped out on a break of 1848, and if that is not our monthly higher low being set, I'll lose a 1.5 day loser as far as what my goal is on a daily basis for profit. So my swing position size is much smaller than my day trade position size. And if I stop out, that means back to all cash. And again, it'll just be giving back a fraction of the profit I've already made on gold in 2020, thanks to the bull move. And that will just keep me very patient. If 1848 breaks, I'm then watching monthly 12 period EMA, which is down in the mid 17s. So I am in a position. If we hold this double bottom, then great. If we don't, I will stop out. And just looking for a 4-hour lower high. This bounce is very weak at this point. Even if we get that, we haven't even gotten the 4-hour bounce going. Once we do, we scout that lower high. Silver did not pull back anywhere near as much as gold. Daily higher lows still intact. Very big difference. We're nowhere near breaking support. We can drop 10% from here and still be holding the low of consolidation, whereas gold has about 1% of space to work with. So that's interesting to note. Perhaps that gives the gold bulls a little bit more confidence. But silver needs to change the 4-hour trend back in its favor as well. If we're going to say a daily higher low is set, and we know on this next bounce, we're just scouting a 4-hour lower high. Miners with a big drop today. Miners are certainly lacking clarity for me on the daily chart. And they're lacking clarity all over. Hourly bounce, just looking for a lower high. Need an hourly trend change back to the bulls for any kind of momentum shift. 3601 is key support. But aside from that, this is the kind of chart where I personally don't trade it because there's a lack of clarity. If I don't have an edge on what I feel is the most probable scenario, then obviously it does not make sense for me to try and trade that. Oil daily trend change confirmed. Is this our monthly higher low being set? Maybe. Weekly resistance still remains at 4202. So daily trend change has confirmed. Now we zoom out to the weekly. Anything under 4202 is just a weekly lower high. And we know we need a weekly trend change back to the bulls if we're going to be confident in a monthly higher low being set. So in the short term, it's all about 4202 and whether or not that resistance level can break. And if it doesn't, we'll expect to remain range bound from here. Energy sector, bull break on the daily, zoom out. Tons of space for a weekly lower high. Same thing as oil. Is this our monthly higher low being set? Can we see the bulls take over for a couple months here? It's possible. Oil needs to continue to see strength. And the broader market definitely would love to see that happen because, again, any sector that can go from really weak to helping hold things up while our really strong names cool off a bit, any sector that can help out, that's a good thing. But, again, one day is not enough. Once this tops out, I need a higher low and higher high to show us follow through. I need a weekly trend change. But bulls are hoping that that monthly higher low can get follow through. Monthly 12 period EMA has been rejecting the price for a long time. 2 years. So we'll continue to watch that as the most important factor on that long-term time frame. Natural gas, nothing went on today compared to the broader market. Pretty much a daily inside bar. 4-hour bounce attempt, just a lower high. So not much going on in natural gas, but we are looking for a weekly higher low, bigger picture. So a massive shift. Lots of names looking for daily higher lows. Monitoring all the rest of this week. Where is money going? Does it continue to leave tech and high flyers? Does it continue to go into the financial sector and energy and laggards like cruises and airliners? Headlines for the vaccine will continue to come into play, as that was obviously a major impact in the short term here. Remain protective. This is a very difficult trading environment. Obviously, we get the election once every 4 years. If you're a newer trader in your first year or two and you're having trouble in the last month, that's a-okay, because this is very unusual environment. I can't wait till the market chills out a bit, because I am frazzled in 2020. Let's just wrap up this year and start a fresh one. I'm ready for it. Month and a half to go. 3 weeks. Month and 3 weeks. So we'll continue to check in. Honestly, I have no idea what to anticipate for tomorrow. It depends on where we stand pre-market. The first question I will have is, do we hold the S&P 500 4-hour EMA 12 support? If the answer is yes, we look for a bounce and we look for a lower high to be the result of that bounce. Never a dull moment. Do good things. Do good things. Reminder, it's getting cold out there. Go to Goodwill, get some jackets and hats to keep in your car in case you come across anybody who needs one of those things. Unfortunately, 2020 has been hard on a lot of people, and I anticipate there's going to be a lot of new homeless people. And after living out of my car, road tripping, which certainly is a luxury in comparison, I learned that you make a lot of mistakes and you learn lessons the hard way about how to live that new lifestyle. And so there's going to be a lot of new homeless people having a lot of tough lessons out there, and anything that we can do to help them is ideal. I personally, my favorite part of financial freedom is having a middle console full of $20 bills to just hook people up with day makers whenever I see them. So do good things, use stop losses, and we'll see you tomorrow. It's time to keep this princess tree in check. It was 6 inches tall when I moved in a year and a half ago. It's dropped all its leaves. Time to cut it down. I was a bit skeptical of an electric chainsaw before I got it. It's more expensive than gas, and it's smaller. I definitely wouldn't be using this for large trees, but anything around the yard that's that big or smaller definitely won me over in terms of how quiet it is. Don't need headphones, no gasoline. Worst case scenario, if there's no electricity or gas, can charge it with a solar panel. So between this and the electric weed whacker, I think we're over the hump for tools to be battery powered and still start to catch up and exceed the something of gasoline. I'm trying to say something. Proper way to fell a tree. One thing about the princess tree is it's naturally hollow. So there's a lot of different uses that you can get out of it. Don't really know what I have a use for. There will be a new tree growing out of there in 5 months.